Live from New York, it's Ask This Engineer.
Hey everybody, it's me, Lady Ada, the engineer with me, Mr. Lady Ada on camera control, and we're your hosts for tonight for this exciting, adventurous hour of engineering mayhem. It's time for Ask Engineer, broadcasting live from the Adafruit factory, right behind us. That's our factory here in downtown Manhattan, where we manufacture, kit, ship, test, produce, document, video, all the things that you know and love about Adafruit. Yeah, it has to happen somewhere, and it happens here. We got an exciting show for tonight. We have an exciting show for you tonight, including annunciation. What's on the show tonight?
On tonight's show, the code is Rivets, 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. That gets you 10% off everything except for Ada boxes and gift certificates. It supports us, an open source hardware company manufacturing in the USA. We do this here in New York City, in Manhattan. No loans, no venture capital. We're completely independent. The only reason we can do this is because of all of you.
Do you like this content? Do you like our tutorials?
It's been working out. So thank you, everyone. When you purchase something using the code Rivets, of course, that's what it's going to keep this thing going.
Thank you.
Show and tell, people around the world showing and sharing their projects. Amazing group of folks showed up tonight with amazing projects. It was epic. Pack of the mailbags in and stop by, read your letters to us, time travel, some events, some news in the world of makers, hackers, artists, and engineers, some made in New York City factory footage right here from Adafruit, some 3D printing, we have some new products, we'll answer your questions, and we do that in Discord, adafruit.it/Discord. That's where we are 24/7, 365. It's the, quote, hacker space you can bring your granddaughter to. We'll have a trivia question, all that and more. Ask an Engineer.
Yes, every week.
Yeah.
8 p.m.
That's
we
right.
are here.
Okay.
Until we die.
So, so the code is...
well, we're goth. I could say that.
The code is Rivets, and that'll get you 10% off. When we have everything in stock, which I think we now have these things in stock.
I think the circuit playgrounds we may not have in stock, but you know what? There's only one way to know for sure.
We have
Go to the store.
Protos, so we put a little note while supplies last, but as you add more stuff to your cart,
you get more stuff.
We give you free stuff.
So at $99 or more, you get a free Perma-Proto half-size breadboard. Keep these around. They last forever. Whenever you build a project on a breadboard, you want to make it permanent, recycle that solderless breadboard, transfer the design over, and ta-da! Like now you have like a free breadboard available. $199 or more, you get free UPS ground shipping. That's in the continental USA. That's high quality trackable shipping so that you know where your package is, where it's at, when it's going to get there. And then I believe we're out of Circuit Playground Expresses, but when we have them in stock, $299 or more, you'll get a free Circuit Playground Express, our premier all-in-one, learn how to program code, physical computing, designing robotics, everything you'd ever want to do with Arduino, MakeCode, Code.org discoveries, CircuitPython, you name it, it supports it. Lots of sensors, LEDs, and everything. People love this. And when you order and we have them in stock at $299 or more, you get it for free and everything below that as well. Okay. But how do they ship it?
Well, that's a good question. So we have UPS, Postal, and DHL. UPS is the trackable way.
Good for US orders.
Postal, get there, not as trackable, not as reliable, and DHL International. You can also use UPS International, but DHL, we have prepaid custom sales through
like this one.
And all of that.
But whatever's available, it's your choice. We don't force you. It's about freedom.
Yeah. Next up, if you're in New York City, check out before 11 a.m. We have same day shipping. All the zip codes are there. It'll say same day, but just make sure it's before 11 a.m. Okay, Lady Ada, this week on Show and Tell. You know, some weeks Show and Tell, I think it's going to be a little slow because it's summer. And then,
but once in a while,
and then what happens is folks are like, okay, I've been working on this for a while.
They come in.
They're like, oh, I just got into making stuff. Or like, oh, I've been gone for 3 weeks and I've been working on this. So there's some really cool projects this week. What was on the show?
Yeah, just because there wasn't 15. I mean, we love it when there's 13 people showing off all their projects, but sometimes there's only 8 or 7, and they're still amazing. Scott leaked a cool new demo. We've got the little arcade gaming platform for CircuitPython. And he had it with the Celeste sprite map displaying, so he's parsing out Pico 8 files, and he's working on how to port Lua code to Python. So it's kind of happening. It's absolutely slowly but surely. It's the kind of fun thing about watching programmers like do stuff. It's like little layers, and then like it blossoms into a beautiful flower. Mike B picked up some Capsella from eBay. If you're like me and you played with Capsella as a kid, it is nostalgia catnip, and he wants to control it with modern sensors and code. Because the Capsella before, it was like you would only, like you have a robot, it would only go straight, like it couldn't turn.
Yeah. One note, and I said this on Show and Tell, but if you're an educator, if you're a parent, a teacher, anyone who does workshops, or if you just want like the best bang for your buck, go on eBay and you can just buy like buckets of Capsella for super cheap. I think I might have, yeah. In fact, I'm going to do a little show and tell just for 1 minute, just to show you like what's possible.
So he took a Circuit Playground Cricut and MakeCode, and he's controlling the motors and the spinners, and because Capsella is just like a DC motor and some gears, it's super easy to plug things together. So this is your kit.
So I have this little eBay watch thing, and it's just like people are like, just like, I have a bag of Capsella.
It's like $5.
Pay for shipping. And let's go to the overhead real quick, because I just want to show this.
Yeah, sure.
Because you can get this for super cheap. And
here, you can also show the
Cricut. And now with Cricut, you can do really amazing electronics using Python or Arduino or MakeCode.
Wheels.
And they have all these really neat things.
Oh, this is like a...
Yeah.
This is a pulley system or something? I don't know.
Yeah. So if you're looking to like maximize your summer vacation
Lots of wheels.
with young people, with people who just want to get into electronics, all these DC motors still work.
It's a DC motor, and it's just a motor. What's great about it, there's no firmware, there's no cloud platform, there's no like subscription service.
You can back that out.
So you just plug this in, and it works, and then you can like connect this together, and then like have this go like this, and then just connect this to the Cricut motor control, and like you can make your old dreams become new dreams.
So a lot of the projects that would be hard to do, like maybe you don't have a 3D printer and you'd want to 3D print lots of different wheels and parts. Well, all this stuff is already around. It was injection molded 30 years ago, and it's
instead of like the good plastic.
It's perfect. It's waterproof. It's meant for all these types of applications.
Yeah, it is waterproof. That's one of the cool things about it. Is not the whole thing, but like
if you go to garage sales or yard sales or any type of thrift stores, you always see these, and now you have something to do with it. So.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, it's not smart. You can make it smart. Yeah, it's like you can just plug right in, and then the motor just turns. You can control the speed direction, so you can even make it better than the original.
So this was
maybe we can make that car that I made turn.
$5. Yeah. So
that was always annoying to me. I was like, it goes straight.
Well, and look at it this way: if y'all are interested in making more Lady Adas, this is what got her started. One of the many things.
Yay!
So imagine
let's show up play with Capsella.
No, we can't do that.
Oh right. Sorry.
But this is hot off the eBay that I wanted to share. So that's why Mike did that guide.
Cool.
And I think y'all will enjoy it if you pick up some.
Check that out. The older the better.
Stuff like that. Okay, what else?
TG is going to build a tricorder, or is building a tricorder in CircuitPython, doing it on a breadboard, transferring it into a final PCB design, and is basically on the M4 processor. So as soon as we get more of those in stock, he'll be able to keep working on his tricorder. But in the meantime, he designed his own board. He learned how to burn the bootloader. So he's actually turning into like a little SAMD51 designer. Techniac had all this aluminum, and they wanted to like do something with it. So they built a foundry, I guess, in their backyard or something. I guess some aluminum melted at a pretty low temperature, maybe. And they melted and filtered the aluminum. He showed some slags, like some of the melted aluminum, like the rough kind and then the filtered kind. And then they cast a J using foam and sand. I guess you cut a shape out of foam, you stick it in the sand, and then you just pour aluminum into it. I guess if the sand is wet, it holds shape, and then the foam disintegrates, and so you can make basic castings out of aluminum, which is pretty cool. Blake is a hi-fi fan, loves high fives. They're positive, they're fun. People love giving them, getting them. It's just you can have all sorts of types. He wants to make a glove that when you high-five someone, it donates to a charity. So he's got an Arduino Maker GSM board, a SIM card, an FSR resistor to detect the slapping of two hands. And he's right now he's working on getting that data into the cloud, and then going to use an Amazon API to donation service. He's just started, and he's at Noisebridge, which is a local hackerspace in San Francisco, and like this is totally up their alley. This is exactly like a Noisebridge project. So I'm sure everyone there is like, they're like doing the project with him, and they're having a really good time and lots of high fives. So he's going to come by as he does more with that. And then finally, Bill B came by. He went to NomCon, that's a Nation of Makers conference. I think it's going to be yearly, so thanks to everybody who contributed to the We the Rosies project. He said it looked awesome. They finished that sculpture of Rosie with all the 3D printed parts, like thousands of them. And thanks to Andrew and Dorothy for running it. And he then told another story about a friend of his in, I guess, Florida, who has SMA. It's a muscular atrophy, and he can only move his eyebrows to control stuff. And this person has a web page that they publish, and they put up a blog post with their bucket list, the things that they want to do. And apparently, this guy is like in his mid-30s, and that's really good for someone with SMA. So he really he wants to get this bucket list. He wants to get it taken care of. And a lot of the things is like, Bill B was like, I can't help you with some of these things. Like, I'm not going to be able to open a bed and breakfast in New England so you can come and stay with me. But one of the items was he wanted to shoot a gun. He'd never been able to go to a range, hang out and shoot a gun.
His range of motion is essentially he can move his eyebrow.
That's it. And so he's like, I want to be able to shoot a gun at a target.
Yeah. And
like, I've done that at shooting ranges. It's fun.
Yeah.
So Bill B was like, wait, I can do that. That's like the one thing.
Well, yeah,
like,
Bill
Bill
had a really unique insight. He said something that's common that he sees across the AT maker world is most of the time getting or using something to use the web as possible. Mm-hmm. So he's like, oh, a web interface might make sense. Mm-hmm. And so that's where
I thought that was interesting.
That's where this started from.
Because he's like, well, there's a button, but some people can't press a button. And he's like, well, I could use this sensor. But he realized, like, most people have a web interface because they're always going to learn how to browse the web. If it's possible, how could you not want to go on the internet? Like, everyone loves cat photos. And this guy has a blog, and he writes and stuff. So he made a web interface using Raspberry Pi, and that controls, actually, it's like plugged into a Cricut. I don't know how the heck he did this, but he made a Raspberry Pi to Cricut adapter. And then he's using a high-powered servo on the Cricut to actuate this, like, cool old gun holder. It's like
yeah, he put a photo up in Discord. He's going to send me some more information.
It's neat. It's like it's a jig for holding a gun so that you can calibrate it. Yeah. And so they got this really cool, like this original one from like the 1960s.
One thing I want to point out, they did all the right stuff. They talked to the ATF as well.
Yeah, they got permission to automate a gun. I'm
this
like, yeah,
is all
good
possible.
Point.
Yeah, they did everything right.
I'm used to like FCC certification. Oh, that's right. You have to like.
And what a cool thing, because just to address stuff. Of course, guns are a topic in our world, in our life, but this is something different. This is bringing people together. It's assistive technology. They went through all the right channels. This is bringing a group of people who want to help someone. They're putting this on it's on the AT Makers Facebook page.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're going to do a post about it, but this is it's really cool, interesting project.
Yeah, and I love that they have a model of the range, and they have a camera so we can sight it, and then there's you can see the target. So I thought this was kind of a neat project, and what's funny is I haven't even officially ported the Raspberry Pi version of Cricut, but one of the things I was hoping that Cricut would be used for is AT, right? Because it can control all sorts of different motors and has like a relay output.
Yeah.
So it's not like the ultimate AT control, but I was like, this hopefully would be useful when people wanted to make simple motorized movements and sensor inputs without having to know a lot of programming. So I thought that was a really neat project. Hopefully he'll, this weekend they're going to go to the range, they're going to try it out, and then the interface is really funny. Like there's like a button for the safety and a button for the trigger.
Yeah, watch the show and tell. It's really good.
It's
and we're going to
cool.
have, Bill's usually on the show and tell, so we're going to have him back, and he's going to show this Raspberry, we're working on a Raspberry Pi Cricut hat-like thing anyways, but I
showed it last weekend.
Yeah, he made one, and then he showed a way to get the 5 volts out, and we'll have him back to show that specific part. And
if you have a Ben Burf's New England, or maybe you can help this fellow out with any of his other bucket list items, you never know. Like,
it's super
some people would be like, I have no idea how to make an assistive tech device, and some people are like, I don't know how to make an assistive tech device, but I can help him. I mean, he wants to like go on a beach in like the UK or something, and they're like, oh wait, that's something I can actually help him do. Please ask Bill. He's in Discord, and he will point you to that list.
atmakers.org.
You never know. You might have something that can help this person get all the things he wants to get done. And that's what we had on Show and Tell.
All right. All participants on the Show and Tell get, and as seen on the Show and Tell sticker, email support@adafruit.com, and we'll send you out one. Okay, this is part of our Adafruit Live series of shows. Every single week, we have John Park's Workshop. JP will be on the air tomorrow showing a bunch of things. Here are some highlights from different parts of his show where he was building a animatronic eyeball. So I wanted to show that. Okay, pack the mailbag. These are the letters we get every single week from you. We read these at our weekly meeting, State of the Fruit. And we're reading this one. This is from James. There is not a compliment option on the contact page, so I used this one. Everything has been incredibly easy and informative. Fantastic shopping here, James. Now, this came in a while ago, and we store up the mailbags and we publish them, every week. So we added a hug report one because we're like, oh, that's right. Like, I think this is one of the reasons we're like, oh yeah, there wasn't like, hey, I think what you're doing is good. Turns out. We
didn't even think that anyone would want to do that. It's like the get blame versus the get kudos.
Turns out that's a good idea. Okay. Next up.
CircuitPython
God. News. There's a lot.
There is so much CircuitPython news. Oh, I have to remember all of it.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, first up, right now, we have the 3.0 release candidate.
Yep.
So that's
3.0. RC1. What does this mean for you? Maybe it's RC0. What does it mean for you? We're pretty much done with 3.0. We think we got everything now. It's no more features. It's just bug hunting. It's an excellent time to upgrade to 3.0. I found it to be really solid. I actually find it to be a little bit more reliable. Not reliable, but there's more memory available than in 2.3. So if you have some projects, especially on the M0, smaller M0 boards where you're running out of memory, 3.0 might be helpful for you. We've also added a lot more capabilities like I2S output, and we did
I2S for the SAMD 51, Metro M4 Express, ITSC M4 Express, and more M4 boards to come.
Audio playback's better. You can now pause stuff. Like, there's a couple things.
Faster CPU, more RAM, larger programs are possible. We use this day to day here, and it is rock solid.
Yep. So we really recommend. Now's a good time if you were like, oh, beta, I'm not feeling good about that. I don't like to shy away from beta. Release candidate, we're pretty solid. We're like our beta was really solid too. All the bugs we're finding are like pretty obscure ones, so we need help finding them. So check out RC0. Please install it on any device. It supports everything that runs CircuitPython, and let us know if something doesn't work. We'll fix it, and we'll get 3.0 out, and we'll get started on 3.1.
Okie dokie. Next up. So this is big news for the folks in the world who like to help beginners code. And Moo has been our favorite beginner code editor forever. So if you like Python, this is a good thing. It's not the most advanced editor in the world that does everything. There's editors that do that. This is for beginners.
It's not Visual Studio. Yeah. It's not Eclipse. Yeah. It's like the anti-Eclipse.
Yeah. It makes the fonts really big. It has really smart, well thought out ways for beginners to learn code.
It has a plotter built in. My favorite thing, it auto detects your serial port. You do not have to select a COM port. You don't have to guess what it is. It automatically figures out which one it is and opens it for you. Which is why I use it all the time.
Now the challenge up until now, as in today, the challenge was it was in beta. The 1.0 is coming soon. This is their beta, but it was kind of alpha-ish. And you didn't have an easy executable on some systems like a Mac for the latest that gave you serial, which then you can use the REPL, for the plotter where you use graphing.
And support for all the latest Adafruit boards, so you have to put them in.
So right now when you go to code with
Moo.
.moo.
Yeah,
And
code with .moo.
And let me make sure that I get everything with this.
Code with .moo.
Code with .moo. When you go there, the whole site's been redesigned too.
Oh, it's like
So there's
amazing.
Download, about, tutorials, how to, discuss developers, and I'll just...
Check out some of these tutorials.
Yeah, well, this is the graphics
Dude,
that they have on
the
their site.
tutorial is just like an animated, and look,
Yeah.
he like zooms in and it
There you
like
go.
run.
You can run the
Amazing.
program. And I'll run this full screen here so you can see this. So it gives some good suggestions as you type. You can see in what's a serial, or in microbit it's REPL, and when you're using the Adafruit boards, it's serial,
Autocomplete
and then
with
you
hints.
get into the REPL.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of the most powerful editors to get started with. So now if you are on a Mac, you have a download. If you're on a
Windows, you have a download.
If you're on Windows, there's 32-bit, 64-bit. There's a Python package. There's Raspbian. So it's
Way, especially for Mac users.
Yeah.
It just got like infinitely easier.
So we were making builds and putting it on our site, and educators were using it because
Yeah.
they're like, oh, cool, like Plotter. We even had our weekly Plotter series.
But some very old Macs, they were having a little bit of, like they wouldn't always load up, or sometimes you'd click it twice. Anyways, we're
Yeah.
done with that. Thankfully, we're going to update our guide soon. For now, you can go to Code with Moo.
Yeah, what I'm going to try to do, because this came out like today.
No, this was like 2 p.m. and we're like,
Yeah.
yeah, stop the presses.
What
like
I'm going to try to do is a
press.
screencast. One of the most powerful things is when you start up Moo, and any of the Adafruit boards that you have plugged in, it knows.
It's
and
detected.
And it's like, great, you have Circuit Playground Express. Great, you have Trinket. Great, you
Yeah.
have it gets you going right away. The other thing is the way Circuit Python works is you're a USB drive that's mounted on your computer. And so Moo is able to load files from there. You can do edits. You hit save. It saves it. Your program's automatically running. There's no like IDE to wait to compile or anything. It's actually
funny,
like
I'm
real
actually
time.
I'm actually doing some Python programming right now on the Raspberry Pi, like Python 3 programming. And I actually keep forgetting that when I save a file, doesn't rerun, because I have like my serial going in like putty, and I'm writing code, and I'm like, oh, I have a bug, and I fix it. And then I'm like, oh my goodness, I forgot. I have to go to the window, Control C, and then like reload it. I'm so used to how fast it is with CircuitPython that now Python seems sluggish.
So that's not all the news in the world of CircuitPython. So good work, Scott, Kattni, Dan, for the CircuitPython release candidate 0, Nicholas Toll, and the entire team. And you know what I
And
also
there's a lot of people with the next, yeah.
Here's what I like. When you go to codewith.moo, and let me give you the full URL. When you go to codewith.moo, there is a
Credits.
thanks page.
Yay!
And it's a list of Adafruit's in here, which is, you didn't have to do that, it's very nice of him. But there's a list of people who he's thanking for this cool thing. So anyways, like it's an easy thing a lot of developers could do, because usually software is not just made by one person.
No, it is a team effort. It's a slog sometimes.
Getting the Mac installer stuff was a huge feat.
And it took and they got it working with Beware.
Yeah.
As anyone who's done Python knows, especially
Beware
once you add Qt, packaging up Python is a journey. It's like a psychic, physical, mental, emotional journey, but you need to get it working.
Okay. So that's our news. To keep up on all the news, we have our awesome list. You can look at that on our page on GitHub. It's awesome CircuitPython. We also have our Adafruit Daily newsletter that goes out every week that summarizes all this. Just go to adafruitdaily.com. You can see a bunch of different selections on the page. One of them is Python from microcontrollers. Next up, we have a Cricut video this week. So this Cricut video is interesting because sometimes it's important to know what you're not going to do. And for us, we want to make sure we build robot friends. And
only the friendliest robots.
We want to make sure we build robot friends. And for Cricut, one of the things we're going to get asked right away is like, oh, like, can this work with, can you control a robot arm with this? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
But robot arms are usually $400, $500, and you can never make a mistake, and they're really expensive. There's some lower cost ones, but they're not that great. So we wanted to see, could we control a robot arm with CircuitPython? The answer is yes, and here's the bad news. So we're going to continually try to source an arm. We have some ideas for designs for arms, but it gets too expensive, and then they also don't work that great.
And also, I hate to say it, but after you build the arm, it's like what?
There's not a ton of projects to do.
Because anything under $1,000 is not going to have
Yeah.
a feedback circuit. So it's like you don't know where it is. So it's like you can't really build, like you don't have a good interface for it. So it's kind of just like blindly moving, and like it almost like thwacked me in the face while I was working on it, because like those servo twisted.
Especially if you're making a robotics platform for very young kids, you know, the arm, if you do something, it could pinch you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the toy arms, and we do stock one of those.
Those are safe. Yeah.
Those are safer, and that's kind of a good thing to start off with. But anyways, yes, of course, Circuit, Python, and Cricut could do a robot arm. We made a quick demo just to see. We were sampling a variety of robot arms, so we're trying them all. The best ones are really expensive and probably out of the price range for everyone. I think one of the best bets for folks will be, if you really wanted to make a claw or those types of things, make it out of things like cardboard and make
popsicle
it so,
sticks.
and popsicle sticks. That way it's part of a construction project, not here's a big expensive thing that I can never mess with. So anyways, so here's a video from this week for our experiment. We made one that picked up a banana. Okie dokie, time travel. Look back in the world of makers, hackers, artists, and engineers. This week we have news events that we have to specifically mention because there's stuff going on.
It's future.
Yeah.
It's future time travel.
So,
It doesn't have to go back in time.
Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, show up at adafruit.it/discord in that channel, or if you want to just go to it directly, adafruit.it/digikey discord. We are doing our weekly chat with DigiKey.
Yep.
And
It has been fun.
yeah,
And informative.
There's probably going to be a special guest from DigiKey tomorrow, and they sent some photos of some stuff they're going to show and talk about, and I'm going to preview it. So one of the things, because we're like a miniature version of DigiKey, where we ask questions about, tell us about the shipping system and the conveyors and all this stuff. So the community each week, because they have a channel all month in Discord, asked about some of the shipping stuff. We asked them about the shipping stuff, so they're like, oh yeah? Well, here's some photos. This is just some of the packages about to go out.
Ooh, that's a nice stack.
And this
Good
is,
stack.
yeah, and
Whoa.
this is all the things that go into the plane that flies out of the DigiKey area with all the packages.
It's plane shaped.
Yeah, it's plane shaped because that's how many packages they ship. So,
That's so smart.
if you're interested in DigiKey, how they ship things, talk to some of the people there. We think this is neat because they're a maker business that's in the maker world. They're one of our partners. They also helped us launch Cricut. They'll be there tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Okay. Also, this Friday,
So much.
3 p.m., Creative and Interactive Robotics with Lady Ada, Lamar Freed. Guess what? You're doing a hack chat
Yay!
on hackaday.io/hackchat.
I love doing hack chats.
Yeah, so you'll be in the chat room typing. We'll also have a camera. We'll answer questions about Cricut, but this is a very general thing about like building interactive robotics.
I'm going to talk about like my view
Yeah.
as someone who's done electronics and has had a lot of really not positive robotics experiences, like not friendly robot experiences. And I want to talk about like how to make friendly robots, interactive robots, maybe robots that aren't just line following robots. Like try to do something different.
Yeah, I think when we were, and we'll talk about this on Friday. So when I had started Hackaday, I'm not connected to it anymore, but when I started the site, the idea, this is now like 14 years ago, was you can show someone's hack, someone's cool idea, cool thing that they just got working, and there's enough of those out there every single day, so people don't need to fear like, oh, I'm not an expert, I can never show my project.
Yeah.
The only thing, and so I think we did it, yay, maker movement, yay, hackers, yay, all this stuff. I think people aren't scared to show their projects, and it's a pretty inclusive community. I'll say robotics is still a little further behind, and that's one of the things. Like line robots, arm robots, it makes it expensive and hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, if you look at like most like, oh, here's a robot I built, it's always like
it's like, okay,
super advanced.
I'll never be able to build that.
It's like a mega, and then like these custom boards and these steppers, and then these 3D printed mounts, and,
Yeah.
and they're really cool robots, and I totally love them. But there's this huge chasm, this gap between a beam bot, which is like somebody just wires.
Yeah.
They just like take a piece of wire and they wire a motor, and then they just stick like a rubber band on it, and they let it go. And these extremely advanced robots that have like full
Yeah.
sensor systems.
And here's the other thing: if it's more than like $50,
Yeah.
you're like, well, I can't just like break it or toss it when I'm done, or just give it to someone or whatever. So one of the things as we worked on Cricut, it's really easy to do a project like this. So
you want to turn it on?
Yeah. So these projects take about 15 minutes, and we'll see if it comes up on Friday.
The most important thing I learned from John Maida, you remember John Maida, the designer? He said put an on-off switch on everything.
Yeah.
So this is a Sparky, and you can see how it works. There's a servo in the
just
back.
cardboard, popsicle stick.
Popsicle stick, and it attaches to the mouth, and then when you make sound,
Yeah.
it moves up and down.
And we have one, of course, that speaks. And last week we showed the more cowbell video.
Yeah, and this one is just a very simple make code project.
Yeah.
It's only like 20 blocks, and you can see when the LEDs reach the max.
Go to the overhead and like turn it upside down so you can
Yeah.
see. So so that's the inside,
So that's the inside, so you can see
Super
the
easy.
sensor. I just wanted to show the sensor.
and then close it
Okay.
and go the other
Yeah,
way.
I
so
know.
you can-
Hold on. Yeah, I
you
know.
can see
I
it.
know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm not as fast as a robot.
You might need to. So that's the back.
Okay.
So really easy build, and then let's go this way
Oh.
so you can see
Yeah, you see how
when
there's
Lady Ada taps the box. And, the hello world for robotics might end up being you just in 5 minutes can make a robot that says hello world. Like that's actually possible.
and and there's sensors, there's LEDs. Like it's actually there's a lot of complexity going on here. There's like a PDM microphone input, and it's like digitizing it and filtering it and like taking the sound pressure level. But in the end, in make code, it's just like when sound volume is above 10, move the servo up and down, and it just
Yeah.
that runs in a thread. It's kind of amazing what you can do when you have like a real-time operating system taking care of all your sensors, and then you can just send the signals for the robotics to a coprocessor. Like
Yeah.
if you do it right, it's mad. Like this would be like so hard to do when I first started doing robotics.
Yeah,
It
and
would be such a big project.
the other piece of this is, and maybe we'll get to it on Friday at the Hack Chat, or maybe not, is if you're using something like CircuitPython, you're not compiling this thing, waiting for it to download, and
Yeah.
then, okay, that didn't work, let me adjust the angle of the servo, and then compile it, and then download.
Especially for these low-cost robotics, they have have no
Yeah.
feedback systems,
It's-
so you have to calibrate everything by hand, and it's like
It's a matter of
very
seconds.
time-consuming.
Yeah, it's a matter of seconds instead of hours.
Yeah.
Because we're like, okay, let's see how hard it is to do with other types of programming, other types of development platforms, and let's see if this is really a robot you can make can you really do Hello World in 5 minutes?
Yeah.
And we really mean it. And so, anyways, hopefully we'll be able to talk about that on Friday. Okay. Next, we have. Some
Did you want to show
open source-
the video? Oh, no, we did. Sorry, we did. Sorry.
Yeah, we already did.
Hi.
Yeah, if you want to talk about open source hardware,
Yes,
that means we have
I
to
do.
talk about showing our work.
Yeah.
Where do we show our work? On learn.adafruit.com. We have 1,487
Ooh.
tutorials. Lady Ada, what are the tutorials?
We're so close to 1490, and then we're really close to
Yeah.
1500. Okay, this week we've got the introducing Adafruit Itsy Bitsy M4 guide. I wrote up a guide over the weekend for the Itsy Bitsy M4, a SAMD51 processor with a ton of memory, 120 megahertz. It's like a really intense chip, but only $15. And I wrote a guide showing all the pinouts, all the things you can do with it. We're going to have more good stuff coming out for the M4 platform and all the things that it can do soon. We have a guide from Brent. Welcome to Adafruit IO. A lovely guide that kind of covers all the different platforms, APIs. It's a feeder guide. Like it covers a bunch of stuff, but it also sends you off into other guides if you're a Node.js programmer, a Golang programmer, or a Raspberry Pi person. From David Stells, we got this guide on proximity-based lighting. It's a trinket, a custom board done in fritzing. When you wave your hand, the under lighting for his cabinet turns on. That's what it's designed for. From JP, we've got the Cricut-controlled animatronic eyeball. It's interesting. Usually, animatronic eyeballs are very complex contraptions, but he kind of tried a couple different things and realized the easiest thing by far would be to make like a very simple XY gantry where the standard servo is controlling a micro servo, and then the standard servo is so strong that it can rotate all the way around with the micro servo turning at the same time, and then that's how it gets the full range of motion. And he has a cute graphic of the eyeball, the bloodshot eyeball in a mask for a creepy effect. So this might be really popular for Halloween. I've never seen an easier to make animatronic eyeball. And I looked online, I looked at all the videos, and they were all like, get your wire bending machine, and like, anyways, but this one's really easy. It's a 2 pieces of cardboard and 2 servos and a Cricut. Kattni wrote an epic guide on rotary encoders and CircuitPython. Rotary encoders are one of those things where if it isn't really built into your programming language and API, they're kind of hard to get working. But we added rotary I/O to CircuitPython. It's one of the things you can look forward to in 3.0, release candidate 0, so please download that. You can have up to 8 rotary encoders on a range of pins. Each one just gets its own interrupt. And the CircuitPython runtime takes care of everything for you. You can just query it for the rotation amount, and of course the button is just a switch. So I'm looking forward to people doing rotary encoders. This is even easier than doing it in any other language because it's completely taken care of for you behind the scenes. From Known Pedro, we've got 3D printed LED throwy designs, and they did this because they wanted to make LED glowing slime, and they kind of experimented with a couple different ways of doing that. They decided this was actually the easiest and best way, but the slime was getting in between the battery and tape with their throwies. So they're like, oh, we'll just make a little 3D printed piece, super easy, takes like a couple minutes to print, snap it together, and you can shove the LED in, and it's nice and solid, so you can make like really creepy cyber slime. And then as we talked about in show and tell, we have a guide from Mike Barella all about using Cricut and Capsella, how to make your old toys fun again with Capsella and MakeCode. So he built a couple fun gadgets with an old kit that he found on eBay.
Okie dokie. And more guides ahead. Should do a hug report. Shout out to Mike Barella, who's joined Adafruit. We already announced and everything, but Mike has been helping us getting all these guides.
He's a powerhouse.
So
he's just like slamming through these guides, and he's helping other people. And he's like, today I spent a lot of time with him, like teaching him all the arcane tricks of fritzing, and he's like an expert now, and he's just like helping everybody else. Great.
What as we've grown as a company, either Lady Ada or I have done every job, and eventually you can't just do that. So we have Mike helping out with some of the editing and making sure the guides are good before we bring them out to the public. We do something a little different than other sites. So Hackster and Instructables and a few others, anyone can post any guide or whatever. And we love those places because we find cool people. Maybe they'll write with us. We see cool projects. We write about them. But we're making products that we're getting out to people. So if we do a guide, there is some expectation that it actually works, that the code is available, that there's techniques that we're teaching. A lot of educators use our Learn guides because not only can they be printed as PDFs, because that was a big request, but they use it as curriculum, and we do, in very sneaky ways, teach stuff. So instead of saying, like, here's logarithmic scale, we'll actually do a project that teaches you that by doing. So it's experience-based learning, and we see a lot of schools in particular is that's where they're moving towards. They're like, yeah, we have to teach stuff for standards tests, but we do want to have kids understand what like color is, so we can use a color sensor, and we want to teach code, but if it's just on a screen, wouldn't it be great if it blinked? So there's a lot of intersection with that. But anyways, shout out to all of our guide writers, and of course Mike, who's been helping us. That's why, if you notice, the pace of our guides has been increasing. Yeah. We're getting more out lately.
He's helping me because I can write guides and I can review guides, but I can't usually write and review guides at the same time. Yeah. So, because I only have 2 hands, not 4 yet. Yep. But so he helps with that. And he's, of course, publishing his own guides as well.
Yep. Okay, so made in New York City factory footage. We have a few videos. I'm just going to play them. Okay, and then we have a few. This is some soldering. Lady
Oh yeah,
Edith
this
can
is
tell you
the
what's going on with this.
this is our Fona Sim 800 board, and it ships with an SMA camera adapter. But some people, sorry, a UFL a UFL antenna adapter. But some people want an SMA antenna adapter, so we will solder that on for you and sell it fully assembled.
Yeah.
But you can't select to solder them, you have to hand solder them. And so you can see this person
We do that.
doing that with a nice big soldering tip because it's a gigantic chunk of metal you have to heat up.
Yep. And we are lead free, of course.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's
once
why
in a while-
this-
once in a while people ask.
Well, that's why the solder is actually a little bit, it looks like gray, not
Yeah.
silvery.
It's also harder to use.
It is.
This is some laser cutting we're doing. These are parts.
Yeah, these are, I think, Unz boards.
Yep.
So we don't sell a ton of them. We just laser cut them on our epilogue when we run out.
Here is.
This is one of the Circuit Classic kits. I think we were just trying out the demo, maybe making a video of it. So this is the bar graph volts indicator, and you can see Forrest Mim's signature in copper, gold-plated copper at the bottom. And this is by Star Simpson. We have these kits. People like them. They're like awesome ways to learn electronics, and like you have the schematic on the right, and like it's all laid out in a beautiful MIM style.
And as always, here is a beautiful time-lapse sunset of what our pick and places fall asleep or wake up to. And that's the show.
Good night, everybody.
It's very relaxing.
I like that cloud cover.
Okay. 3D printing. Lady Ada mentioned there would be slime.
I'd like to see some slime.
That was one of my favorite movies, There Will Be Slime.
There will be slime. Like a slime milkshake?
I drink your slime shake. Yeah, no. So anyways, take it away.
Slime it up?
Yeah, take it away, no Pedro.
Over there.
Hey, what's up guys? In this project, we'll show you how to make glowing LED slime. These type of projects can help STEM educators get their students excited about learning electronics and making. Educators can use LEDs to teach kids how they work and get them involved with the making process. The idea is to put together a kit for a classroom or workshop using just a few parts. You can get a pack of these 10mm LEDs and coin cell batteries to get started. We designed and 3D printed a simple holder for the coin cell battery. And this just makes it easy to put together an LED throwy that's actually reusable. Just pop in a coin cell and press fit them together. You can slide in an LED and take it out to turn it off or change the battery. The design is free to download and easy to print, so you can make a batch of them. You can get your students involved by having them set up the parts for 3D printing. Making a batch of slime is easy to do with Elmer's glue and their bottle of magic liquid. Making this stuff seems like a silly thing to do, but it really is fun for the kids and can teach them the concept of mixing different things together to make something new. There's lots of ways to build activities around this, and you can use craft supplies to have students personalize their projects. Get kids to use measuring utensils and have them make their own batch. They can add dyes and mix colors to learn a little bit about color theory. Lighter colors diffuse LEDs and spread out the light more to make a better effect. This could be a pretty cool way to have students learn how to light up their first LED. Have the kids use LEDs in other projects, and you can change the battery out when it's done. We think young students can learn by making, and hopefully this can get them interested in how electronics work. You can find resources and instructions for this project on the Adafruit learning system. Links are in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and remember to subscribe for more DIY projects from Adafruit.
Okay, and don't forget 3D Hangouts every single Wednesday on all of our channels.
More slime.
Yep. Okay, Lady Ada, before we get over to new products.
Oh my goodness.
It's rivets. That's the code. Don't forget. We also have a new product newsletter. That's the only one that you can get through the Adafruit account if you have an account, and you have to try really hard. So just go into your account settings and you'll get an email every week if you want what's in new products. Okay, Lady Ada, ready to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go.
New, 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 new.
Okay, great. You did it.
We're done. Bye.
Yeah. All right.
We got the pins.
We have pins.
We have some of these limited edition pins. We've got them for Ruby, the Red LED, who's the young, happy youngster.
Yeah.
She's energetic and excited. Gus, the Brooklyn physicist, kind of sounds like Richard Feynman, right?
Yep.
And Billy, who sings the blues. She's a little bit like Billie Holiday. She's a little sad because one leg.
She's sad. She's like, I'm so sad.
One leg is shorter than the other. So we got these 3 pins.
Yeah, those are the pins. They're limited edition, by the way. This is what the back looks like. course.
Yeah.
They're limited edition, so we had put these in either freebies or maybe it was part of an ADA box. And this is it. When it's over, it's over. We had some extras, so we said, well, why don't we put them in the store?
I want to show them on the overhead real fast.
Let's go to the overhead real fast.
Just because they're cool.
Yeah.
So they're enamel pin, they're metal, and then they've got this really high quality color fill. We had these Pantone matched to Ellie's. Now they're just red, green, and blue, but all three, and they come in this backing plate, and they've got a nice butterfly clasp.
And
really easy to wear.
Unless something changes, we have no plans to make these ever again.
Not these particular ones.
Yep.
Limited edition. So once they're gone, they're probably gone.
Okay. Next. Oh, by the way, as far as how it looks on human beings,
great.
Looks pretty good.
Looks pretty good. Look at that denim jacket. Get your 80s style on.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have a cricket sticker. People asked for them. They said, I really like that cute cricket.
You want
we got that.
a cricket sticker set? Yeah. I can show on the overhead. There's
Yep.
actually 3 stickers. So you get this one, which is kind of a front view of the cricket, sort of a side ISO view.
Yep.
That's this sticker. And then you also get a label. And you get a barcode with Adafruit part number. If you want to decorate, see if you can cut that one out too. So you get 3 die cut stickers per sheet. These are nice vinyl stickers, not paper, so they're glossy and high quality.
Okay.
Look great. Decorate your robot with them.
Next up, this is updated.
Updated, yeah. So we've had these stacking headers for Raspberry Pi for a while. So you're probably wondering, what could you possibly change about them?
How can we improve these? How could they be better?
Super easy. They now have thicker pins.
Oh.
So the ones we had before had stamped pins. You really can't tell from the photo, but their pins are now square. And so they still fit fine on the Raspberry Pi, and you can stack, bonnets and hats. I can show
go there.
on the overhead. So in this case, you can see the stacking header, the bonnet. Now, I'll say the thicker pins make it, you have to be a little bit more careful removing it. It takes a little bit more effort. So you plug this in, and now when you do stack a bonnet or a hat, it works with, again, any Raspberry Pi. I mean, it doesn't even need to be a Raspberry Pi. It can be anything that has a 2x20 header. The pins go through. You can still get to them. You can probe them. You can stack another bonnet if it, well, this has stuff in the way, but if it was a thin one, if it was a sensor bonnet, you could stack something on top. You can connect headers, and yeah, these are nice, thick, square pins. The flat ones, they work like 99.9% of the time, but then once in a while, people were like, it wasn't making really good contact because it was so skinny, and we wanted to solve that. So we got another supplier and specified these. So now it's even better, updated. Boom.
Okay.
Stacking.
Next, you're wondering why the code was rivets, and here's why.
Oh, rivets.
We have rivets.
The rivets. These are plastic rivets.
Yeah.
So we got a whole bunch of these. These are actually used for like upholstery. We've got a bunch of samples, and me and Mr. Lady-Ada were like, well, let's see if we can use these for cardboard.
These are great for cardboard robots.
They're great for cardboard robots. So they're, we carry a bunch of different like cardboard construction kit type things, but I'll tell you, these are really cheap. I mean, you get 20 for like $4, and they're recyclable, reusable. So I'll show you how they work.
Okay, go there.
You get this part that's kind of pokey, and what you do is you poke a hole in your cardboard, actually 2 holes, one in each piece that you want to connect, and then you put this through, and then imagine there's like cardboard, you snap this in, and there's actually kind of like 2 levels of snapitude, so a little bit and more so. This is good for cardstock. It's not good for thick cardboard, I gotta tell you. Like this, we're gonna try to find ones that are better for thick cardboard, but they're not gonna be as easy to use. These you just punch a hole. But for like standard, like, your box plywood, like, hey, I just got an Amazon shipment, I wanna recycle it. And they make for great hinges. I mean, like, it moves, but it stays. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's flexible, it's very easy to move. But once you shape it, it stays where it is. So you can position and shape things. And then when you're done, you can kind of gently pull it apart, and it's recyclable. Like, unless, maybe after like 50 times, it might, the little plastic grabby teeth might get a little loose, but you can definitely reuse them. So you can see the hole that I punched here in each size of the, I just use a screwdriver and I just like popped a hole. You can use a pen. Again, put this in, put the other side in, and then snap this on top. and then back in business. So super easy, cardboard rivets for your frogs. No, rivets for constructing just about anything you want. They're not going to be super strong, but they're great for anything that just has to be moved around and positioned.
Okay. All right. And tonight, the star of the show, besides the community and all the people out there, and you, Lady Ada, is the following two products.
They're a twofer.
Yeah.
So you got this flexible LED matrix. I think it's a 4mm pitch. I mean, it just looks great. It's this RGB matrix. You get 32 by 64 pixels, which is, I think, like 2,000 or something ridiculous. It's flexible. I want to say it's not crazy flexible. It's a very thin PCB, but it is movable. So if you're using this for like a wearable or something that has to have some give, it's going to work really well. And I thought I could show it on the overhead so you could see it. This is the back, and it's used as a standard, basic RGB matrix pinout and protocol. So you can see you can kind of flex it, but you're not going to be able to bend it in half because it is, they don't have the plastic overlay. It's just the bare PCB with LEDs, and it's a super skinny PCB, but you can twist it and kind of has some give. And each individual LED, I think it's 2mm LED, you get 32 by 64. On the back is a hub 75 connector. Like all of our RGB matrices like this, it's not NeoPixel. You have to control the 6 colors and then the latch, and then you have to clock the pixels. So you actually need to have quite a bit of wiring and code. We have a library that seems like everybody's using that works with the Atmega 328P, which is the Arduino Uno compatible. It works with the SAMD21, so it's our Feather M0, Metro M0, and other M0 friends. And it also works with the SAMD51. We recently added support for that as well. So that's our M4, which has tons of memory. While you can use matrices in general on the Atmega 328, not this one. You actually need too much memory. There's not enough memory on the 328. So for this, I'm using an M0, a SAMD21 Metro, to control it. And that's what we recommend. Or you can use a Raspberry Pi. We have a Raspberry Pi bonnet and code as well. So not for Arduino usage, but just about any bigger processor can power these. And it's just the standard Hub 75 matrix protocol. So super fun and flexy. And I like the pixel density on this one. It's really nice.
Okay. All right. But that's not it, because there's more.
There's always more.
You said this is a two-part.
It's a twofer.
So
you're wondering,
next?
how did I actually connect this up and power it? Well, historically, we would have just wired individual wires. But actually, SparkFun came out with RGB matrix shield, and I was like, yeah, you're right. I should have one. But I wanted to make some changes to it. So I think I improved on the design and made this version. And I tested it. Works great with all of our Metro and compatibles. And I'll show it off.
So what's so good about this one, Lady Ada?
Well, it gets powered from the 5-volt pin, which is kind of important.
Okay.
But you can, select which pins they are. The pins that are used, work great in our library. And like I said, this is now Metro Express, which is great. And what's cool is you can power the Arduino from a 9-volt adapter, as I'm doing here. And then the 5-volt regulator comes out. So you can power your matrix from this. You don't need a separate power supply. The power cable just connects to this power connector. It's not going to be able to power more than about 800 milliamps, maybe an amp peak. Not good if you're going to have all the LEDs on, but for the demo I was showing with just text on it, it's perfectly fine, and it's kind of an all-in-one solution. This is a pretty big matrix. So check it out. We added a page short RGB matrix guide. It works as is on the Arduino Uno and compatibles with the smaller matrices, the Metro M0 Express. If you're using the M4, you have to make one jumper because of the way we optimized our code, but it's pretty easy. It comes as a kit and you solder it together, but it's pretty easy and takes you 15 minutes. You just grab your soldering iron and just solder the headers on in this connector, and you're good to go. Comes with a reset button. This is the test code that draws some circles. And I think this will really help people who want to use
What are
their
you
matrix.
driving now? What's this little thing underneath that?
This
shield?
thing underneath is our Metro Express.
Okay.
So it's a SAMD21 chip. The reason this is good is it runs at 48 megahertz, so it's easier, of course, for it to constantly draw these pixels.
So it's an M0.
It's an M0
Yeah.
SAMD21.
Gotcha.
Also works with our SAMD51.
Yeah.
And it's good because it has a lot of memory, because you have to buffer the entire display in memory as you draw it out. So that's why I recommend the Metro M0 for this shield. You can use it with an Arduino, but like I said, not recommended, not a lot of memory.
Well, for
you
pretty
can't
much
do
the same price or even lower, you can get a more powerful
That's what I'm saying.
device, and you have things like, okay, I'm using Arduino for this project, I'm going to use CircuitPython for this project, I want to use MakeCode for this project, I want to use Moo for this project.
Why hold yourself back?
That's
why
right.
not?
I'll say
Why
this.
not do what you can?
If you're just getting into electronics now, it's a good time because you're not stuck with one programming language based on your microcontroller. It is a really good time.
It's a free world.
You're not going to have buyer's remorse. You're not going to be like, oh no, I can't believe I bought that thing and I have to use this weirdo ID forever
Dude,
over here.
it's a lot different
It
than
is a good time.
basic stamp, where it's like, okay, you're locked in. There's actually less lock-in than ever,
Yeah.
whatever you're buying. So anyways,
Okay.
there you go. That's the products.
So, Lady Ada, that's it. That's new products.
Epic.
Okay. Let's do the recap.
Let's do the recap.
Okay.
New. You got Ruby the red LED, Gus the green LED, and Billy the so sad singing the blues LED. Enamel pins, limited edition. They look great on your 80s denim jacket. When we run out, we run out.
That's it.
I'm not getting any more.
Okay. Next up.
We've got this updated 2x20 header, stacking header for Raspberry Pi. Works with all of the modern Raspberry Pis. Has thicker pins now instead of stamped pins, so people who are having slightly flaky connections will be much happier.
Okay.
We've got these plastic rivets. These are great for cardboard. You get a pack of 20, as you see here. Take any cardboard, 2-ply cardboard, punch a hole, snap the rivets, they're recyclable, you can reuse them, and you can make like cool robotic construction projects.
Okay.
We've got the RGB matrix, the Flexi Matrix. This is 32 by 64 RGB pixels, 4mm density, and you can see it's slightly flexible because it doesn't have the plastic backing. And it's a Hub 75 compatible.
How do you drive it?
And you're like, how do I drive it? Well, you can use our RGB Matrix shield. Works with any Arduino M0, M4 compatible. Use our library. Makes the wiring really easy. You just plug and play. You can even power your Matrix from the Arduino's 5-volt power supply.
I thought we forgot, but we didn't. We also have a Cricut sticker.
No, we still have the best for last. This is our Cricut sticker. You get 3 stickers for the price of 1, and you get a barcode as well.
That's right.
Show your robotic joy with this Cricut sticker pack.
The barcode's free. That's
Yay.
it. Okay, everybody, Rivets to Code, 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up till 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. We're answering your questions now in Discord, adafruit.it/discord. Go there now.
Yeah.
We'll answer them.
Yeah.
I was answering some of them as they were coming in this week.
But hit me, I
It
know,
all
there's
depends.
there's so many.
So,
What do people want to know?
so for the matrix display, I know,
Yeah.
I mean, cat's out of the bag, as they say, but I know we're working on a mega, like, M4 thing, but just
Well, we have the idea of doing it. We haven't even laid out.
yeah. Well, there.
Yeah,
We,
okay.
that's we already kind of said, oh, we're
You know
working
what?
on
I'll
it.
design it so I can show it and then be like, it's not out yet. Don't ask.
So we're working on that. But would the mega that currently exists work with this?
No, because it's too slow. It's only 16 megahertz, and the pins aren't in the right optimized location. So this is really for Arduino Metro shape. But I'll tell you, if you're using the Mega because you need that more, like it's not fast. So if it's just because you need more memory and RAM, the M0 has the same amount of flash and RAM, and the M4 as well, and it's a lot less expensive. I would just skip the Mega and go straight to the Metro M0 or M4.
Okay, next up. I bought your Pi Zero kit at my local micro center. When I installed the shell script for the screen, when my Pi Zero fully boots up, it just flickers black and white. Is there some pointers or troubleshooting for this? That would be great. I would say go in the forums because there's
Yeah.
probably a few different things. Could be power supply. Could
be
what's
plugging
on,
it in.
Could be what's on the SD card. Could be a few things.
It's Linux.
Yeah, it's Linux. And luckily, like, we've probably seen and heard everything.
Yeah.
So post that one in the forums in particular. We also have the Learn Guide and some FAQs. That'll help you there. It's
Yeah.
just one of those things that's almost impossible to. It's not just one thing. So
Yeah, it depends on what screen it
Yeah.
is. Oh, there's so many things.
Good news, bad news. It's not one thing, but you have to figure out a couple other things. Is there going to be a Raspberry Pi Cricut? Since we did. I
showed it. It's not out yet. Like last week, I showed the Cricut hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll answer this one. So, is that crazy tariff thing that's coming up? What will it mean to Adafruit? well, because I knew we were going to get this question. So here's what it actually means.
We actually talked about it today.
Here's what it actually means, because we've always run a business knowing that prices will go up. Shipping prices go up. Cost of components go up.
Every day.
So we buy a majority of our stuff from places like DigiKey and Mauser and part suppliers. So will it affect them? Maybe, maybe not. Because they buy in such big volumes, are they going to change their prices? Maybe, maybe not. We do have wiggle room with margins. We do have things, most of our things have pricing for resellers. So probably none of our customers are going to notice anything. But here's one other thing to keep in mind, and we're definitely not political. We stay away from stuff like that. These things are leverage and bargaining.
I mean, they're called tariff war. It's not a partisan thing. They're actually called the tariff war.
Yeah, and yes, something's going to happen on the 7th, or maybe not. Something might happen on the 7th, and then it'll quickly change. It is impossible, even if you're a newsroom, to keep up with news nowadays. So here's what we can promise you. We'll always do the best for our customers. We'll always be transparent. If it starts to affect our business, we'll tell you. I don't think it makes sense to speculate too much right now because it's a little unclear. In fact, even after July 7th, it's not like, okay, things used to be $1,000, now they're $1,250. We wouldn't know some of these things for months later, because that's how, here's your tariff bill. Here's your import bill.
You don't get the bill till later. It's
not. So here's one of the things. We do a show every week. We blog 30 times a day. We've told this Adafruit story for 10 years. We've been part of the worst recession in our lifetimes. Not too long ago, Adafruit was started basically in like 2008. The last, was that the date of the last one?
Yeah.
It might have been getting out or in the middle of it. The bank that we had our money in foreclosed. We had
while we went on a trip. It was
we
awesome.
had moved our money out and paid our taxes with a cashier's check because we thought that might happen. So we'll do everything and we'll let everybody know. But I do have faith in all of us to support each other, and I think that we'll be able to figure out ways to navigate whatever happens. There could be some type of crisis like Sandy hit. That happened. We got through it. We paid all of our staff. Adafruit was taking orders online, but we couldn't ship for a week. So life happens.
We do what we can.
Life happens, and there's nothing you can do other than
support your makers.
And you know what? There's reacting and responding. We can react and be like, oh my God, like 25% more. Well, we can also be smart and respond when it really happens and figure out what we can do. So that's the long story of it, because we get asked, and I figured give a good answer. I was about to purchase Adabox 8 yesterday. Unfortunately, the order page closed. That's right. We sold all the possible Adaboxes.
We sold them.
So here's one thing you can do. It's possible if someone's subscription lapsed or if they canceled, you can go to the page, but it is closed for Adabox 8. However, after Adabox 8 ships, we do put Adaboxes in the store as standalones after a certain period of time.
That's right.
So you're never out forever.
You're never like, I will never get to collect it. You might not get some of these super special extras, but the project can be built without them. So that's what we recommend.
Okay, is there any more plans for the Adafruit Precision NXP 9DOF breakout board or something even better in the works?
I really like that NXP 9DOF. That was like one of my favorite pairings of DOFs. But NXP is no longer making some of those chips. They made them and then 6 months later discontinued them. I don't know why. Sorry. The BNO 055 is what I recommend for people who need a 9DOF right now. Because NXP, we ordered chips and it's been 6 months.
Okay, someone wanted to
This is the thing. It's like not even a tariff. They just aren't making them.
Yeah, I know, right? Someone wanted to know what the code was. It's rivets.
Rivets.
It's all the way up to 11:59 p.m. tonight. Let's see if there's any more questions. Is there a way to check a Adabox subscription? I still don't have mine. Yes, Kevin, what you can do is email support@adafruit.com. The Adabox 8 hasn't shipped, so they'll probably say it hasn't shipped yet. We'll be shipping those in a couple of weeks. So if you got it as a gift, this next one is going to ship soon. It hasn't even been
charged yet, yeah.
That's probably what it is. You didn't miss out on anything, don't worry about that. Good life advice over here. Life happens when you're making other plans. That is so true. Let's see if there's any other questions before we give something away. Once, twice. Is there still time to change my delivery? Yes. For Adabox? Yeah, but do it right now. Like right now. Moving in July. Oh yeah, right now. Email support@Adafruit and do that now, because some of these things kind of get set.
Yeah.
And we don't
It's a machine. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of them.
We do ship thousands of Adabox, so yeah, do it right now. Like, stop
right now.
Stop. Hit
Why?
pause
You
on
shouldn't
YouTube.
stop. Leave.
Email support Adafruit
Go.
and say, hey, I was watching Ask an Engineer, and they said I should
What?
really.
You should talk, but they're not listening because they've already.
No,
gone
they're
through
doing it.
Okay.
They're doing it. They're like, I'm doing it now. Okay. All right. So those are the questions. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget, we're in Discord all the time. You can hang out there and ask any questions we didn't get to, or hang out in the forums. Lady Ada, we're gonna give something away. What do you want to give away this week?
I thought I'd give away a pin set that you get one of each color. How's that?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's cool.
One of each color. Okay. What are
Yeah.
the rules?
If you've won something before on the show, you can't win again. Only one winner per my lifetime. But we have other shows you can win stuff, so tune into those.
Yeah, if you won on Ask an Engineer anytime, you can win tomorrow
On Discord.
We've been doing the DigiKey giveaway. We've been doing that.
But it's actually been new people.
Yeah.
First one to call the phone number and pick up. Please turn down your audio because otherwise we get weird echoey effects. I'm going to ask you your name, where you're calling from, and something you were working on, you're making, or you want to make. And then I'll tell you to email support, and you'll get your pins,
Yeah.
your epic pins.
Okay. So that's the phone number. You have to decipher it. It's kind of like a puzzle.
Ooh, look at your keypad. Maybe they have like things.
Own bit stab.
Second ring.
You gotta do a second ring. That's the rule.
Hello, you've reached Ask an Engineer. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, you've reached Ask an Engineer. You've won a fabulous prize.
Hello?
Hello? Oh, they can't hear me. Hello there.
What?
Come here, here.
You've won a prize. What's your name? Did you want to win a prize?
Yes.
Great. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Brian from Safety Harbor in Florida.
Okay,
Yay.
Brian from Florida. Well, congratulations. We're going to send you out a set of enamel pins. Do you want to tell us what's a project you're working on or you want to work on?
I'm currently working on the Times Square watch kit.
Okay.
And I'm also working on a project that will clean up a room.
Oh, neat.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. Okay.
Okay.
Well, what you should do is you and maybe if you have a parent or guardian, email support@adafruit.com and tell them that you've won, what's the part number? 3495 through 3493. They're the LED pin set.
Yeah, just tell them the RGB pins.
Yeah, the RGB LED.
They'll help you out.
Yeah, they'll know what we're talking about. And then, so email support@Adafruit, say it's Brian from Florida, and we'll send those out to you.
Okay.
All right, well,
Thank
have a
you.
great night. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay.
Okay. So that was a trivia question this week. Well, Lady Ada, that's our
Well,
show.
that's our show.
That's our show for the week.
Rivets. I like these rivets.
Yeah.
They're cool. I searched a long time for these rivets. I'm glad when I found them.
That's
Turns
right.
out they're used for upholstery and cars. That's the
Okay.
thing. It's like when you're looking for something, it's not what... You can't just search for cardboard rivets. Like, nothing shows up.
Yep.
But we found these.
Okay, that's our show for the week. We'll be back next week. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time is Show and Tell. 8 p.m. Eastern Time is Ask an Engineer. Tomorrow at 8 p.m.
We're back.
Forget DigiKey and Adafruit together on Discord. Adafruit.it/DigiKey Discord. And then on Friday.
Then you're like, I want even
on
more.
Hackaday.io/hackchat. Lady will be talking about creative and interactive robotics. And even though there's a hack chat and it's a text chat, we also run a camera at the same time. So just check our...
Maybe I'll hold up something.
Yeah, check youtube.com/live. Or
I think there's a
it'll also
giveaway
be
on that too.
Yeah, we're going to give away some crickets.
Ooh,
Yeah.
sweet.
We'll probably do it in a couple fun ways.
We'll figure out something.
Yeah. So that's
what we got
that's all
going
the
on.
stuff.
Okay, so much is happening.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you to all the Adafruit team members, remote, all the Adafruit employees here, our entire community that'll support us no matter what the tariffs are.
Yeah, thank you.
You can't put a tariff on love. I mean, you can. I mean, we will.
We probably will.
I didn't look at CNN. I haven't looked at CNN in the last hour.
It's been outlawed.
There's a tariff on sunlight. So it doesn't matter. We're in it together, everyone, and keep making and sharing and hanging out together.
I'm going to tax the moon.
It's fine. We'll tax the moon. Whatever it takes.
Bye, everybody. Have a great
Moon
night.
shining all this time. That light from the moon.
It's not fair. I mean, like, you have to pay for electricity. Why don't you have to pay for the moon?
Yeah. Show that moon. Okay. So anyways, we'll see everyone next week. Here's your moment of Zener.
Bye.